so that you don't miss. And you can always get back to us with any query that you have. And today's topic we have selected for the session is, as you would have seen, we are going to talk about how the skilling aspect of education, what we are calling as skill education, helps us in connecting school education with higher education. So what was missing in the in the school and college education for so many years has actually been addressed very effectively by NEP 2020, which is the National Education Policy 2020, which is already 4 years old. And I am sure all of you have either referred to it or heard about it or read about it or implemented it or done something or the other with the document, or you would have discussed with your the school and college leadership or your colleagues. So we want to take this forward because we from NSN, National Skills Network, which is an absolutely private organization, absolutely self-funded entity operating out of Hyderabad, but we have an excellent presence not only in India, but in many other countries. I'm very happy to inform you that ever since the policy was launched, we have been continuously creating awareness through workshops, webinars, YouTube videos, and many other channels. So again, now that, there is a strong reason why everybody should know about the policy, whoever is connected with skills or education, including the teachers, the school leadership, the college leadership, we have launched this weekly webinar. So in case you want any of your colleagues to attend the next week's webinar, you can always pass on the message. We will keep sending you updates. So let me get started by sharing the screen. I'm not able to share the screen. Ajay, can you give me permission? Hello?
Yeah, you can share it.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So you're able to see my PPT, I think. You're able to see, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Okay, but before this, I think I'll have to show you something. I just forgot about it. So there is this very interesting thing I was looking at just now. Is it visible now, the screen?
Yes, visible.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a very pertinent news, I thought, which was hot news. So you see, actually, this is a video. If I play, I don't know if you'll be able to hear or watch. Let me try playing this video.
Interview. This is the sad reality of unemployment, which stares the governments in its face. People who shot at each other, and in fact, there was some damage to the property as well.
Okay. So I just wanted to show you that video as a reference. I'm sure we have all heard about the employment scenario that we are facing today, in our country, and we know how difficult it is. What you just saw was actually something that happened in Gujarat. Okay, and yeah, just a second. Yeah, something that happened in Gujarat, and the sad part of the story is so many almost 2,000 I think candidates applied for those 4 or 5 kind of job roles, and there was almost like a stampede, and so this presents a very tough situation for all of us in our country. Whoever is worried about the development of our country or the economic development, or for that matter even helping youth with decent wages, decent employment, decent livelihoods. Somewhere there has been an issue. We all know that somewhere there has been a problem. And I think that is what NEP is actually addressing. So in other words, what we are trying to do with this new policy, what it is stating very, openly and with lot of force is that it's high time we connect education with work, education with jobs, education with work. This missing link, is something that is coming out very strongly, and that's the reason skills play a very important role. Now, let me take you through a couple of examples. There are fields like sports and event management or tourism and hospitality. Look at a place like Jammu and Kashmir. There is so much of unexplored potential for tourism yet, right? Or for that matter, look at places in Eastern India or Northeastern India, which has its own diversity, biodiversity, cultural diversity, and a lot of potential for many things, many types of industries, many innovative types of industries. Or you look at sports and event management. Okay, just imagine the Ambani wedding which is happening, how many crores of business they have done. Okay, if they have spent 5,000 crores or 10,000 crores, how many people have contributed to that? Okay, I'm just talking about the kind of work it has created for a whole lot of people who are connected with wedding industry, event management industry. It could be the artisan who's working on a sari or something, or somebody who's decorating, or somebody who's into the travel, somebody who's into the food industry. So event management, the same applies to an IPL kind of a match. Now, if IPL types of matches happen in India in many more places, even in districts, imagine the kind of employment it creates, right? So the notion of employment today is changing. It is not a standard job where you work for 20, 25, 30, 40 years and get your pension and salary and everything. No. Today, retirement is not a concept which I think the youth will even be able to understand because they don't have a job. A secure job is what gives you the confidence of, okay, I'm going to retire when I'm 60 and then my life is going to be different. Sorry, that's not going to be the reality anymore. So if this is the emerging job scenario, are we ready with our education? I don't think we are in any way. We are making a small beginning. Okay. So what does it mean? It means that the school level education and the college level education, whatever the kids are learning up to class 12 or what they learn beyond that, somewhere in the formal learning system, these both are not connected. What does it mean? To be connected means each one should feed into each other. So today we know, right, when somebody leaves the school or is not able to continue, we say, okay, this person is academically, poor. Or he or she cannot cope with academics, and then they drop out. And that creates a social stigma for the child. And imagine the kind of stress it creates for the children, or whole lot of lakhs and lakhs of children after 12th or around 7th or 8th start preparing for all the NEET and JEE and God knows all kinds of competitive exams. Okay, and we know that that's a very tiny percentage which manages to get into these big, IITs or AIMS or these, big hospitals or big medical colleges or big engineering colleges. Those are very aspirational and parents don't mind spending, and children go and live in quota factory or whatever is the place. And it's really a factory kind of an approach. If you look at the big picture, somewhere what is missing here is that our education is not really meaningful. It is not leading us to an outcome or a result, which could be a job or which could be meaningful higher education, which will again, give us some source of livelihood. Because in India today, we are still culturally very aligned to formal education. For us, the degree is very important, right? So what is happening with the emerging scenario of skills is that we are trying to bridge the gap between schools and colleges, create many bridges where the dropouts will have an opportunity to go for higher education, where the higher education students, if they have to discontinue, will have flexible model to come back and continue, where if the children for some reason have to work at a young age, let's say 15 or 16 years, they have to start working to support their families. Such children are usually at a very big loss, even if they are very bright students. I'm sure you have heard of lot of news saying auto driver's son becomes IPS officer, okay? Or a maid who's working in many houses, her daughter becomes a engineer, or she goes abroad. So these stories, when the mainstream media is pushing at us, it means that there is a certain kind of a cultural issue with our education. Why is it that we feel so surprised when an auto driver's son reaches a new height? Why? Please think for a minute. This is something which is culturally ingrained in us. I don't think in other countries it is such a big issue if an auto driver or a bus driver's children do well in their life. I don't think it's so in US or in some European countries. But in India, we have a lot of cultural issues and social stigma attached to many things in life. So now with NEP 2020, we have a lot of hope where we feel that some of these issues will gradually, very, very slowly can get wiped out from our system. That's the reason we have called this session as Connecting Schools and Colleges. The two keywords here are mobility, that is upward mobility, or mobility at the lateral level for children who have either discontinued or who want to change their streams, or who want to do some things and come back to studies, or for colleges where there should be flexibility, because we know a lot of students, especially those for whom, especially in the southern states of India, I'm not sure how it is in Jammu and Kashmir or in Punjab, maybe the scenario is a bit different there. But if you look at the southern states, especially where I live in Telangana or in Andhra or Tamil Nadu or Karnataka, there is a very big issue with college education. College means engineering, and engineering is like a 10th class degree in many families. Then how many students really do well in engineering when so many engineering colleges are closing down? That's a very big question mark. Where do these students go who don't get placed in good software companies? We don't know, right? So all these issues at the higher education level means we need to be more flexible, more accommodative, so that if engineering students, while doing their engineering, if they can fulfill some wish, like if they want to do a multidisciplinary course, like in humanities or any hobby kind of a course, they should be able to. This is what NEP is actually telling us. So now let me go into the details. So if you look at the ladder which we climb in India, the academic ladder, it looks like this. Okay, we are supposed to go up, up and up. From school to college, postgraduate. If I tell you my case, I did my PhD continuously. There was no break. I studied. Then one day I did not get what I want. Okay. The reality was very different. For me, getting a UGC fellowship, which was JRF, one of the prestigious fellowships, which sustained me for 5 years, was easier than getting a decent teaching job. So that's my story. If you want to know more about me, I'll tell you more on some other occasion. Okay, maybe my career of about 28 years will give you a lot of examples about how much of struggle I have undergone. How much of, today you call it mental health, but I have gone through the worst kind of mental health issues when I was at various stages of my professional life. So nothing is easy, but we believe that we have to struggle. We believe in ourselves. And that is where, climbing this ladder becomes very crucial for us. At least in my generation, I didn't know what else I could do, because there was nothing much in the vocational or job-oriented education. But today, what we are doing is that we are saying at the school level, expose children to holistic development, expose children to skills, sensitize them. okay, to various skills, vocational subjects. It will help them in their life, in their, like we say, school to work transition. And at the college level, we are saying that introduce flexibility, multidisciplinary courses, allow college students to have holistic development opportunities, make education application oriented, and recognize that through credits, then it becomes a very outcome-based learning model for the college students. So this is the change in scenario today because of NEP 2020. In other words, what we are trying to do is that we are not saying that we need equality. It is not equality of education. We are saying equity, create the different types of opportunities for different people. If somebody has dropped out, give an opportunity for the person to cover up that space, that loss of time. I mean, why so much of rigidity? I seriously don't understand even today. If somebody is not able to discontinue, immediately the family, the society, everybody, like we all label that person as this or incompetent or this or that. So, I think that period is over now. And in India, I think we should really quickly get into models where we have equity as one of the primary goals. So once we have an equitable model, which is helping people from different backgrounds to reach the same level, then education really makes more sense. And in addition to that, if you look at our country, till today, for the last 75 years or so, we have always had a similar model of education where we thought, okay, if you implement this CBSE type of a curriculum, or if you implement this typical type of a curriculum, which has 6 or 7 subjects in a similar way and conduct an exam at the end, it will solve the problem. No, sadly, that is not the reality. Because if you look at the lay of the land, our country, every state, every 100 meters, many things change, right? Look at the geography of our country, the beauty of our country, the culture of our country, the history, the legacy. There is a wealth of things in India which can be used for educational purposes. Education is not learning from books, right? Sadly, we have limited it to learning from books, appearing for exams. Education can happen, as we know, if you go by Gandhian philosophy or Rabindranath Tagore's philosophy, education can happen anywhere. I'm making a craft, let us assume, maybe I'm making something with my hands. During that process, I learn, and that is education, right? Or maybe I'm walking in the forest, or I'm walking somewhere in a garden. That is education. What I observe, what I see, I am a strong believer in this. I spend a lot of time observing nature, and believe me, it is really the greatest of the teachers I have in my life. So education need not be books. I don't think any book would have helped me when I was going through some phases of my life. No, that I didn't get from books. Whereas I got it by observing few things, few people, few things around me. So you see, the notion, the definition of education in India has to be very different. Northeastern India has their own problems. The states have, like say now Assam has floods, right? Do you think the children are able to go to school every day? They may not be. Sikkim has other problems, right? And Orissa might have another problem. Or you go to Kashmir, there could be, they have very severe winters, right? So in many ways, India needs a different, and also the way the kind of what is grown in that place. For example, what is the industry? What is the agricultural pattern? You can't have a big software industry everywhere in the country, which is supposed to be creating the most aspirational job. You can't have a manufacturing unit everywhere in the country, right? But you can probably have a small industries, So we have to keep this in mind, and this is where we get employment opportunities from. Now, with this backdrop, let me move on to the NEP 2020. So what exactly NEP 2020 is solving is this, right? I'm sure all of us has seen this, this cartoon or whatever you want to call it, the illustration which used to be very viral for a very long time, right? So here, the importance of exam is very well, laid out. No matter what you are, no matter what you can do, it is like, telling the fish to fly in the air. It's like that. Really, it's like that with our children today, if you go back and check. Okay, or you call, or you talk, or you call somebody and say that, you do this, but then the child may be actually oriented to do something else. The child's interest could be something else. Maybe the child has an inclination towards gardening. And maybe if you give gardening as a subject, later on, maybe the child will get interested in organic farming or maybe in some agricultural technology. Our education has been denying all these opportunities to many children for decades. That is why NEP is important. Okay, so what children want, what you,
And
yeah,
sorry to interrupt, but the slides are not changing.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll reshare. I don't know what is happening to my laptop, but I'll reshare. Okay, now can you see?
Yes.
Okay. Would you want me to go back to few slides? Sorry, I'm not looking at the comments also. Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm very sorry for this. Let me go back. See, did you see this slide? Or let me just go back from here. Can somebody tell me if you are able to see from here?
Now it's changed, but we have not seen except for your first slide. Only first slide was there on the screen.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Ah,
Will be better if you'll be showing the all slides for after the first,
okay. Now,
Thank you. Now it's okay.
okay, kindly please point out, sometimes these things happen for God knows what reason. Okay, should I just show you the slides once again and quickly give a summary?
Will be thankful. Will be thankful. Please.
Okay, okay, thank you. Thanks. And please feel free, or anyone, Divya or whoever is available, Ajay, please let me know if this problem is coming again.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I was talking about opportunities for jobs, in sports and event management industry or tourism and hospitality industry. And then I spoke about how flexibility and mobility are needed between the school and college curriculum, between the school and college education. Yeah. So I gave you examples, many examples about how this can be done. And then I was showing you about how education is considered to be climbing a ladder kind of an experience. And sometimes education is seen as a goal in itself, because some people, they really don't know why they're going on acquiring so many degrees, right? So this is what I showed you. And I also said that from the school level, if you start sensitizing children, school students to holistic development, skills, applied learning, and other things, they will be more aware than what they are right now. And then at the college level, if you provide opportunities for multidisciplinary education and application-oriented learning with a lot of flexibility, that will help the college students do well in their lives. So in other words, I also talked about how equity is more important than creating opportunities for just saying that, okay, we believe in equal opportunities. No, equity is something quite different. And the opportunities that we need to create to achieve equity are also different. And then I spoke about the diversity of India and the opportunities we have from our history, culture, industry, our legacy, etc., to create different kinds of jobs. Not just the formal organized government or secure kind of jobs, but all kinds of different jobs. So can I continue? Is it okay?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. In case it's getting stuck, kindly please let me know. So this is, as I said, this is a very famous viral illustration which shows the mirror to our education system, which is so examination oriented that we make everybody write the same exam, everybody go through the same process without knowing what they are originally good at or what they are meant to do. So in other words, the youth in India, when we look at them, what is important for them is to participate in the society, have a successful career when they enter the labor market, and also they have to contribute to the economic development of the country. So to summarize what I was saying till now, I would just like to point out few things. The perception of education or learning, which is achieved through formal means like school certification or a degree from a college, needs to be re-looked at. We have to reimagine this because many things have changed in the last 20 to 30 years. And we talk about India's demographic dividend, which means we have a lot of young population who, if they get opportunities to work, if they are skilled and if they work, it is definitely going to add to our country's economy, right? So when these opportunities are there, we need to look at education in a different way. That is the reason why the policy is talking in a big way about vocationalization of education or integrating skills with general education or academic learning. And the policy, the background work was done in a very serious way over the years, where many suggestions were taken, as you can see on this slide. And also, the goal here is to see to it that, we have a better gross enrollment ratio in the school and college level. At the same time, the implementation of the policy could be left to the state governments because education is in the concurrent list. So the state governments can decide what they want to take from the policy. And at no time in the policy, there is anything that is mandated because by definition, a policy gives us frameworks, guidelines, and it gives us some kind of advice, maybe in some places, suggestions maybe, but it never says this is mandatory, do it this way. No, the document has to be studied and implemented. It has to be studied and then understood. Okay, if Jammu and Kashmir wants to do this, or if Maharashtra, which is already doing few things, or in Haryana or Himachal Pradesh, you want to do this, or in Uttarakhand, you want to do this, then the policy can be interpreted in many ways, depending on your requirements. So what are the guiding pillars of the policy? Guiding pillars are access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. So these are the 5 guiding pillars. And it is expected that if we keep these as our guiding pillars, then we'll be able to meet the challenges which are at the national and global level through, preparing youth, making them more employable. And as we all know, in most cases in India, because access to education is there for many of us, especially for middle class families, what is happening is that many youth are underemployed. So here, what I mean to say is that since they can go on studying, and in India, we have in most families or in all families, it is the parents who fund the children's education, unlike in other countries. So it is relatively easy for youth to keep going, like do a degree and then you do a post-graduation. But then what happens? Your education is not connected with work. And at the same time, whatever you take up as a job, you will be mostly underemployed or overqualified. That's another problem we face. So what we are talking about today because of NEP is that we need inclusive and integrated models where we can bring in certificate, diploma, degree, treat them all on par, whether they are coming from vocational or they are coming from general academic. It could be ITI certificate, it could be polytechnic diploma, it could be engineering degree, or it could be a general degree like a BA, BSc, BCom. So what we are saying, there should be no difference between all this. And at the same time, the academic learning and the vocational learning, they have to balance. That is, in other words, the knowledge and skills have to balance. Usually we acquire theoretical knowledge from academic learning by sitting in the classroom or by doing blended learning or by going to school or college. And skills we acquire mostly through practical training, training in the industry or training in some kind of a lab situation. So the vision of the policy is that at least by 2025, 50% of learners through the school and higher education should have exposure to vocational education. 2025 is just next year, but I'm sure this goal cannot be achieved so soon. There's a lot of work to be done, and there is a lot of awareness to be created. And one of the reasons why we are doing these webinars regularly is because of that. Because we feel that if we are going through, by looking at the policy and trying to pick up some guidelines from there, some provisions and recommendations from there, we will actually be establishing a proactive, system in India, wherein what happens is that when you look at these things proactively, you will solve the issue of dropouts, you will solve the issue of unemployment to some extent, you might solve employability issues, all this proactively. Proactive here means even before the child is dropping out, you make sure that you create a situation, an atmosphere in the school or a curriculum in the school where you see to it that XYZ number of children, they may not want to, do what, like, for example, today, most of the reasons for dropout is, one, of course, is the monetary or the financial reason, but also for other reasons for children to not do well in their academics. I'm sure that if there are teachers here, you know it for yourself. For most children, if the subjects are not of their interest, especially as they are going to higher classes, they would not want to do it well. It is like forcing upon them, right? So proactively taking the recommendations from the policy, if we are implementing a slightly different curriculum, which has practical training and exposure to skills, and which is in alignment with the sustainable development goal, it is definitely going to make a difference. Now, the policy, if you look at it, the way it is divided, you have a lot of information which you can read up on your own. But I have tried to pick up things which are, very crucial and important so that I can just, mention those things, because talking about the policy in 1 or 1.5 hours is not possible. Okay, in fact, we do workshops also. So in case you are interested, as a group of teachers or as a group of school leaders or college leaders, if you want to attend our workshops, do let us know. We can either do a customized workshop for you, or you can join whenever we do a workshop. That will be more detailed and more hands-on and a lot of interaction and activities, because this definitely needs more than 3 hours to go into the details. So at the school level, as you may be aware, we are talking about 5+3+3+4 system, which is a change from the 10+2. Then at the school level, we are talking about sensitization to work, professions, workplace, transition to workplace, and then skills. And then we are also talking about making children, school students aware of, their talent and skills. And at the higher education level, we are emphasizing on holistic development through multidisciplinary and flexible curriculum. There is also the provision for 4-year degree program, which is already being implemented in few states. And there is also provision for multiple, entry-exit, which gives flexibility for the degree college students. If they want to take a break, they can do that and come back and continue. So the focus is also on employability enhancement and entrepreneurship promotion. Just to give you a glimpse of what the policy is talking about at the school level, these are the important points. That is early childhood care and education, which is the foundation of learning, then foundational literacy and numeracy. Then, the kind of requirement which is there today for the children, which is very different perhaps from other, the previous years, right? And then again, the dropout, the curtailing the dropout. I'm going on talking about dropout somehow, in this particular session, I think because there are many school teachers and all who have registered for this, because the dropout problem is mostly at the school level. And then curriculum and pedagogy in school, which has to be holistic, enjoyable. There is the national curriculum framework. I hope you have seen that. Then about teachers, who are the pillars on whom the entire structure is built. The teachers need, they have to be prepared to teach differently, to take up innovative work, and teachers need to be given incentives, and they should be encouraged to do research. All those things are also important. And equitable and inclusive education for all students, even for those who are a bit disabled or who are challenged, for them also. And then at the higher education level, we are talking about the forward-looking vision for higher education, which is actually talking about a bit of restructuring of the courses, making it more multidisciplinary. To give you an example, let us say somebody is doing BCom or BSc. And if this student wants to do an IT course, or like say a simple course in artificial intelligence, which doesn't require a lot of technology background, or a course in cybersecurity, this student should be able to do it. That is the kind of multidisciplinary thing. At the same time, in engineering colleges, if the students want to pursue, let's say, a course in digital marketing or a course in movie making or anything which is very different from their traditional curriculum, they should be encouraged to do that. This makes it also holistic. In addition, the policy is also talking about the need to introduce life skills or 21st century skills. And again, faculty in the college is a very important issue here. And teacher education, that is what it is. And reimagining vocational education at the higher education level, not only at higher education, at the school level also. And how we can include skills in the colleges. I don't know how many of you are from the college, today in today's session, but in our previous webinars, which you can check on our YouTube channel, we have done webinars on NCrF, that is Credit Framework, NSQF, and many other topics. You will see that a few months ago, UGC has released a guideline for colleges to start skill-based courses. It's very important. You can check the document and see what it's talking about in case you're from colleges. Now, let me take you through a few very key insights from the policy. One, it is talking about no hard separation between arts, sciences, curricular, extracurricular, vocational, academic, and other things. So today now, when we look at the education in schools and colleges from the lens of NEP 2020, we should believe that, and we should also promote the idea that there is no difference. Now, I'll give you an example again. Okay, I'm aware of many children who have scored very high in their schools, but these children chose a different path. They did not want to go into the typical rut of getting into coaching centers and going to Kota or some place and do those exams. Okay, they chose the path they want. Somebody wanted to do fashion design, somebody wanted to do culinary arts, and somebody wanted to do hospitality. But the sad part of the story is that these children had scored very high in ICSE and CBSE. But the sad story is that even though they scored high and they chose their own path of what they love to do, the social pressure on them was so bad that we could hear from their friends and others saying that, okay, why are you doing this? Are you not very academically inclined? Or somebody from somewhere says, why are you choosing this? Have you scored very low in your school? Look at the questions that are being asked to these children. That is the kind of society we live in today. So when the policy is saying no hard separation, it is a wonderful thing. Somebody doing home science should not be treated below or, with less importance than somebody doing, let us say, some technology course. Or somebody doing biology should be seen on par with somebody like someone doing history. Humanities is equally important as something else. Or skills are equally important. Only then, we have this no hard separation. We spoke about flexibility and multidisciplinarity. All these are important parts of the policy. One important thing that is coming out from the policy is that vocational education or skills should be mainstreamed. Means they have to be brought from the periphery or the borders of the kind of system we have into the center. Mainstreaming is bringing them into the center and giving them equal importance. I think that is the only way we can have a big social change in our country. It may not happen today, may not happen in 10 years, it may not happen in 50 years, but with the policy, there is a hope that things will change very, very gradually. So, at present, you see the situation is like this. Vocational subjects are mostly offered to schools, as children in government schools. The assumption being that the children who come to government schools, because of various reasons, might want to start working. So give them vocational subjects. Can you try pushing vocational subjects in elite schools? It may be difficult, right? Because of the notion of vocational. Can we rebrand this subject, vocational subjects, as some other skills and push it through all kinds of schools in India? Maybe it is possible. I have done a lot of webinars and workshops where I have learned from a very high elite school group in India. Unlike the perception, we say that, okay, this is an elite top school in India, and we believe that they may not want vocational subjects, but actually they were interested, they were exploring. And the teachers who attended the webinar were very curious if they could do, vocational subjects, if they could teach vocational subjects besides their general subjects. So there is a lot of perception problem about vocational education in India. And students in ITI who learn technical and vocational skills, we feel that, okay, because ITI attracts only students who are dropouts or who cannot do the academic courses, it has been branded as for students who come from an XYZ kind of category. That's again a sad state of affair. And students who enroll for short-term skilling programs, they are the ones who learn vocational subjects. These could be people, who enroll for government-sponsored, skilling programs like PMKVY or DDU-GKY and others. Now we have to bring the vocational to the general, into the general thing. And that can be done only by integrating it consciously into the general curriculum as the policy is saying and doing. What are the benefits of mainstreaming? You have academic mobility, you have socioeconomic growth, and you have a lot of emotional benefit. The self-worth of the child, the student, and the image of the student will improve drastically. Imagine we are telling the vocational students who come from ITIs, saying that, look, you have done very well. You are no less than others consciously, and bringing them into the mainstream and giving them opportunity to join 12th class. It is possible today. They can do that with a bridge course from NIOS. So now that is mainstreaming, and that is connecting vocational with general education. So the framework of mainstreaming goes like this: integration of vocational with general education, no separation between curricular and extracurricular. Extracurricular could be anything which is in the form of arts, performing arts, sports, and social activities, social work, volunteering, any of these things. And every student will learn at least one vocational subject from 6 to 8. This is the mandate of the policy, which is the recommendation of the policy, but CBSE is implementing it seriously to introduce at least one vocational subject. There is a proposal for bagless days in school. This is already being implemented. An integration of schools with higher education through NSQF, that is National Skills Qualification Framework and Credits. This is also happening. And options in higher education through BVOC and MVOC programs is also available. So that is the way we are looking at mainstreaming vocational education. Now it's time to reimagine vocational education by building competencies. And in addition to mainstreaming, what we just saw, competency development is very crucial. And that can happen only when we bring in the vocational skills, the academic learning, or the kind of knowledge. It's like competency is what? Knowledge, skills, and abilities is equal to competency. So knowledge comes from books, from academic learning, from classrooms, right? And the skills come from practice, from going to a workplace or trying on one's own, whatever it can be picked up as a hands-on learning or practical learning. And ability is what we build through other skills, which are, let us say, the 21st century skills. So together it becomes competencies, and there is a lot of emphasis on competency development. Another important insight from the policy is inclusive, interoperable, interdisciplinary. All big words, but to put it in a very simple way, what we are trying to say is that as per the policy, we need to look at education as something which is outcome-based, which can be measured perhaps, which is like not exactly, I would say, we know about learning objectives, right? For most of our programs, if you have done the teacher education programs and all, we are taught how to write learning objectives. But learning objectives are written usually from our point of view, what we want somebody to learn. Learning outcomes are framed by looking at what the student should demonstrate for a particular goal. Like say, for example, outcome-based education is directly connected with the world of work. This is where, again, skills come into the picture. Let's say, for instance, for a certain job role, you want to create a course, which is like a skill-based course, or in your school or in your college, in addition to your academic learning, you want to integrate a couple of skill-based courses, then you have to look at outcome-based education. You need to check NSQF levels. How many of you are familiar with NSQF levels? Can you please reply in the chat? Then another important insight here is school internships for skill appreciation, because the policy is talking about 5+3+3+4 system, which is a change from 10+2. And the advantage here is that while the children are in the school, they get introduced to various skills, skill appreciation, that is. The good thing about this is that, especially in a country like India, where we have a very, strong, very strong social stigma, there is caste system, many jobs or work is associated with a certain caste, and maybe some other communities don't want to do that job. Still, these things are very, very prominent. Our country is, very unique in that way, right? We have our own problems and issues. So everything cannot be forced on everyone. So there has to be flexibility. And in that flexibility, if you are able to introduce children in the school to certain skills. Let's say, for example, skill need not be again, plumbing, masonry, carpentry. No, it need not be just that. It can be a skill, like I showed you in the beginning. Event management today is a very big industry. I was telling you about these big fat weddings that happen, or the sports events that happen, or any other event that happens, and those events are also happening in the tier 2 cities, in the districts and other places. So that, imagine if children are interested, because it's a very creative field. And if you want to introduce such a subject in the school, I'm sure there will be takers. And when they do that course, they are not only preparing for this, which something which they love probably, but they'll also be able to start as an entrepreneur or, take up a job in that. If you remember, there was this movie called Band Baja Bharat, right? Anushka Sharma's movie. It was a very beautiful portrayal of how young people start event management, wedding, what do you call, organizing wedding and planning wedding planning and all that as a business. So similarly, there is scope to do a lot of things, and that is what sensitizing is all about. And craft-centric learning is actually borrowed from the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi. We will see it, how it works. So this is the framework we have today, from 10+2 to 5+3+3+4. Okay, so you can see the blocks here. This is also divided this way to align with the credit framework. I'll just show you the credit framework. So in this school, we are saying bagless days, at least 1 or 2 days in a month. If you introduce this, when children come to the classes, without their bags, and when they are made to go out and explore, it could be a store, a shop. It could be a small eatery. It can be a healthcare center. It can be a farm. It can be a small industry, or it can be a repair shop close by, or do some really hands-on work, then what happens? You will see that, the children get exposed to these things. One more example I'll give you. If some of you who have watched this movie called Lapata Ladies, which was a very big hit, I'm sure you know the story of this girl who was struggling hard to, for education. She was forced into marriage, right? Please remember such stories. They are a wealth of stories for us to carry back as educators, because these stories bring out the real India. And the girl struggles, really struggles. So that's a very good example of how at the rural level, or semi-urban areas, education is still a problem, especially for girls, right? And she dreams of doing organic farming. Sadly, the dream was a hidden dream. Now imagine how many children in India are under that category, right? So children have dreams. It's just that we need to, give them that opportunity. So this work-centric education is actually borrowed from Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of Nayi Talim. It was written ages ago, but still relevant, where he talks about the importance of mother tongue and other things. But most importantly, what he talks about is, head, hand, and heart, and the how you bring your mind, how you bring your hand, the mental and the physical, and all this together for that holistic learning. And the emphasis on handicraft is something which is being brought back in NEP 2020. And his idea of vocational work, which is about dignity of work, dignity of labor, all these thoughts are coming back in the policy. Now, next insight is the job market orientation, especially for the college students. Today, if you look at, let's say, for example, the engineering stream, because we are all familiar with this, I'll give you 2 examples, one from the engineering. What happens in a typical engineering college is they are selling placements. They are not selling educations. Okay, right from day one, the course is sold based on placement, and placement is a significant indicator of the salary they can expect. Now, where is education? Now, look at the kind of things that are happening in India. Okay, very often we hear about, like I was just reading yesterday, many bridges are collapsing in Bihar. They're just collapsing, okay, for whatever reason. Many bridges, new, old, everything. You hear about buildings collapsing. You hear about something here, something there happening. This shows the quality of education that is available, right? Because those engineers, those people who are going and building these things, They are the ones who are coming out of our system only, right? They are not coming from somewhere else. So that shows, and also especially if you look at engineering, particularly the civil and the mechanical, the kind of students who go there, and also the value of these two streams is very low today. Like we are struggling to fill these streams because everybody who comes to engineering dreams of a software company job, right? So what happens to those who don't get placed? What happens to them? Have we ever thought about them? Where do they land up? Do they become delivery boys? Or do they work with like Swiggy and Zomato and all? Just look at the description of people who are delivering in Zomato. They give you the educational qualifications. Very often I have seen they have postgraduate degrees, right? So you see the complete mismatch. That is why we are talking about job market orientation. The students should know what jobs are coming up, how the industry is, creating jobs, what kind of jobs. Are they permanent jobs? Are they secure jobs? How should they prepare for it? It is not like I enter into college, then I walk out with a, with a job offer, which is saying, okay, I'll earn 2 lakhs per month. It is absolute nonsense if somebody is selling education like this, right? So we have to look at how we can make it more meaningful, how multiple entry exit could also be made a reality, because what happens with this multiple entry exit in degree college is that students get an opportunity to take a break if they want and again come back for various reasons. And also in the same framework, now we have what is known as degree apprenticeships, BVOC, and all these courses where the students get exposed to the industry. They can go and do like an apprenticeship and come back, right? And also there is a 4-year degree program which will encourage them to take the 4th year as the research year. Now, another important insight is the recognition of prior learning. Basically, if you look at NSQF, the framework allows you, or rather helps you, to certify people who have learned things on their own, which could be informal learning, right? So informal learning, let's say, for example, some of you, you might have been very interested, let's say, in your college days on becoming a fashion designer or something. So you develop that interest, and along with your profession, whatever you're doing now, you still do a little bit of fashion designing. You don't give it up, right? Most of us do that. Few of those hobbies, we still keep them alive. Now, one fine day, you decide that, no, I don't want to work in the same way. I want to become a fashion designer. Then what you can do is, all the knowledge you have about apparel design and fashion design and all that, using that knowledge and skills, you can appear for a certificate, for a certification, which is based on an exam. And that is qualified as per NSQF levels. Now, when you take the test, when you take the exam, if you are able to attain that a certain level, you will be given a certificate. So your prior learning is recognized and it has been made formal. So you have a certificate now. You should feel good that my fashion design hobby or interest is actually now certified. Now, suppose you are not able to get that certificate for your prior learning, you will have to do a small bridge course and then appear for the test and get the degree. So all that you did for maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right, is never getting wasted. So now you often hear, right, about old people like seniors, very seniors, like somebody did their 10th class in 60 years, or somebody did their degree, got their degree in 70 years, right? These stories keep coming. So that is how it is. Here we are talking more about getting recognized for the skills you already had. Now, the next insight is technology adoption, which is also, there are two ways of technology adoption. One is, of course, technology adoption for offering your programs, which all of us learned during COVID. We all had to, do blended learning, do flipped classrooms and all. At the same time, the policy is also talking about offering courses in latest technologies which have artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, etc., and also bringing it into the classroom 2 ways. One is you use this technology to deliver, your learning, and also introduce courses with this. And student entrepreneurship and research is also emphasized a lot. Is anyone offering any entrepreneurship program in your school or college? As far as I know, Government of Delhi offers an entrepreneurship course for students in their high school. Is any of your, are you also offering any such program? In case you're not, I think you should think of doing it very soon. Then another most important point here is the professional development of teachers. How you can have a resource pool of teachers who are not only qualified, not only trained, but who are also prepared to, do innovative things. So we know most of the time teachers are overburdened with lot of work. Now, if we tell them, look, we are bringing a new change with the policy, tell me how many teachers will take it in the right way. I'm sure there will be resistance. But we need to tell them, we need to convince them, saying that many things are changing. So gradually, you will also have to change, because the situation is like this in India today. It demands this kind of change. So the teachers have to be trained, they have to be told about the advantages of what the policy is giving. So in other words, we need a faculty which is motivated, energized, and capable, because the faculty or the teachers, they are the pillars on which the entire education system, is built. We just cannot take them for granted. Absolutely no way. They have to be compensated well, especially the vocational teachers. They have to be given the kind of place, the respect, and the importance. Only then the policy will work. So faculty is a very important part of the policy. In addition to these, the policy is also talking about 21st century skills, which are very important. And in case any one of you is interested to collaborate with us for a workshop on 21st century skills, either for students or for teachers, we'll be very happy to do it with you. Please write to us. You have our email ID. We'll be very happy to discuss this with you. We have already done a lot of work in this area. Today, these skills are becoming very critical because of the situation in which we live. Recently, we published an article on our website. You must read it. And you should also subscribe to our e-magazine in case you haven't. I'll just show them to you after this presentation. Now, when it comes to implementation of NEP 2020, there are 6 frameworks which are launched by the Government of India from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Skill Development: National Credit Framework, National Skills Qualification Framework, National Curriculum Framework for School Education, National Higher Education Qualification Framework, Curriculum and Credit Framework for undergrad programs, Curriculum and Credit Framework for PG programs. These are the 6 documents. They are all available online. So, to summarize all that we discussed so far, when we have to connect schools with colleges through skills or through vocational subjects, it means that we are perceiving education in these 3 ways. One is academic learning in the classroom or in the flip model. One is skill-based learning, which is mostly hands-on. One is experiential learning, like I gave you the example of the fashion design, right? 3 types of learning. So these 3 types of learning have become very critical now for us to go forward. I'm just giving you an example here about how CBSE has introduced skill-based courses. For those of you who are from the CBSE schools, I'm sure you are aware of it. In case you are not, we will share the link with you. You can take a look. So CBSE has introduced skill modules for levels, from 6 to 8, from 9 and 10 and 11 and 12. There are different types of skill-based courses for a certain number of hours. And the breakup of theory and practice is also given. This is available on CBSE academic website. Now, let me come to the credit framework, which is a very, very important framework for policy implementation. whether you look at it from the academic point of view or whether you look at it from the skilling point of view. So what does the credit framework do? In case you are aware of credits, you can type in what you know in the chat. Credits are already there in India. Okay, there are many colleges and all who give this choice-based credit system. When they implement, they give you credits. In engineering subjects and all that, you have credits. But now credit framework is like an umbrella framework where credits will be assigned to every level of education and skill development and experiential learning. Okay, 3 types of learning, as I just showed you. And how does this framework work? It, after completion of a certain level of learning, you get those credits, and those credits can be stored in the academic bank of credits, and you can redeem them whenever you need, just like you redeem any credit, and use it for some other, learning program. So let me just take you through that. And 1 credit is equal to 30 hours of learning. Okay, and mostly in the higher education, we have 1200 hours of learning per year, which equals to 40 credits. And this credit framework is prepared in collaboration with all these organizations and regulatory bodies and many more. We have just picked up the UGC, CBSE, NCVT, AICT, DGT, and NIOS. They have all played a very important role. Now, let me just show you a glimpse of credit framework. As I told you, within the scope of this webinar, it is absolutely impossible to go into the details of this, but I'm just trying to introduce you to this framework. And once again, I would like to request you, in case you need to have a very detailed, session on this, we would be very happy to take it up. So then we can go into various aspects of it. The credit framework is designed on 3 axes. There is one skill axis, which is the vertical green line. Then the purple line here is the experiential learning axis. And then the academic axis is this red line. And all in the skill axis and the academic axis, it is equal weightage given to the kind of learning that happens. So whether you go through a skill kind of a path, or you're going through the academic path or the skill stream or the academic stream, you should be able to get the same credits. Whereas for experiential learning, there is again a system of credits to be assigned based on various levels. So the credit framework is detailed like this. I don't want to confuse you by giving you, more information on this. Just take a look. That's it. I'll give you a very brief overview. From there, you can either study on your own or we can help you later. So this is how it works. I'll just explain the columns. You have these academic band or the hours of learning, right from the, the preschool to PhD, that is doctoral. Then you have the number of years you study and also the class, the levels we have in the school and college. And then, the kind of levels that are available in the skill ecosystem, which is known as NCrF levels. And what is the credits you earn at which level? Okay, so the levels are defined like this. Like say, for example, if it is class 8, let us start from class 8. Class 8 is level 2.0, 9 is 2.5, 10 is 3, 11 is 3.5, 12 is 4. So higher education, undergraduation starts from 4.5, 5, 5.5. If you remember this, that is like more or less enough for today, that we have these levels. And these levels are corresponding to the number of credits they earn. Everywhere it is given as 40 credits. And the number of hours everywhere is 1200 hours. Whereas if you look at the primary and the pre-primary level, the number of hours is slightly less. So this particular table is available in the National Credit Framework document. We will share the link with you. You can take a look. Now, from there, let us look at the National Skills Qualification Framework, which is a competency-based framework. How it works is, it is not just a skill. Here, the competency-based framework is actually taking three important aspects of learning. One is the aptitude, the knowledge, and the skill. It takes these three together to define a level of competency. And that level of competency is matched with a job level. That is because skill-based learning, vocational learning is very performance-oriented. It is very activity-based, and it has a direct link with a job. Right? When we say vocational, it has to align with a job role. When we say technical training, it need not align with a job role. Technical training is more generic, whereas vocational is always aligned with some kind of a job at some level. So we have NSQF levels 1 to 8. Now, earlier it used to be levels 1 to 10. Okay, and these are the levels I just spoke about. And what are the NSQF levels helping us in? With these levels, we are able to create career pathways. We are able to help students or people who are coming from the workplace to get into the academics, learn more, or those who have not been able to continue, we are giving them opportunities to continue and showing them various paths, like an ITI student or a BA BCom student or an engineering student. At the same time, it is taking care of the equity aspect of learning. So the competency levels are given here. You can enter at any level and learn further. So basically, it works like this. Just a second. Yeah. Now, let me give you one more example to show you the competency levels. Let's take two industry examples. Today, when we talk about connecting schools with colleges through skills, this is a very good example. Let's assume in the CBSE curriculum, you are introducing retail skills, like a trainee sales executive skills in the 10th class or 12th class. Okay, and let's assume that in the college also you introduce skills at that level, or you introduce the retail skills at a higher level, right? So what happens is that if you take the NSQF curriculum, those skills are at different levels. At level 3, it will be an entry-level job in the retail industry. At level 6, it will be like a manager or a lead level job in the retail industry. That is how the curriculum is completely mapped. And the words we use for the curriculum here is the qualification pack and the national occupation standards. That is actually the detailed curriculum which is available for various job roles. And these qualification packs and national occupation standards, which are known as QP-NOS, are prepared by the sector skill councils, which are the industry representative organizations or various other industry organizations and academic institutions. Now, let me give you one more example, healthcare industry. In the school level, you might be introducing, let us say, level 3 kind of a curriculum. Later, you might introduce level 5. So it indicates that level 3 is definitely a lower level job and this is a higher level. When I say low and high, it means that those are like entry level where the expectations are lower than the other levels. Now, similarly, you have a lot of courses, curriculum, etc. available for, let's say, electric vehicles or technology, like say blockchain or any of those. Then green energy sector, solar energy, then electronics or drones or telecom. All this is available, readily available. You can check on the website. Now, to summarize this part, I would like to just mention the differences which are there when we look at academic courses and skill-based courses. Academic courses, as we know, are more theoretical, skill-based are practical, job-oriented. Then academic is more, knowledge acquisition with little application. We are mostly reading, like we say, bookish learning, rote learning, preparing for exams and all. Whereas skill-based is application right from day one. It is like 70-30 or 60-40. That is the percentage. 60 is practical or 70 is practical, 30 is theory or 40 is theory in a skill-based course. Academic courses are usually long-term, skill-based are generally short-term. And then academics, you have a qualification, which is academic qualification like a degree. Whereas here in skill-based, it is more like, the eligibility is more like a flexible entry point, like I showed you, NSQF levels or the aptitude that you have. So your eligibility also varies. Then the teaching methodology is also different. One is very classroom, lecture, lab, discussion kind of thing. The other one is hands-on, real world of work. In terms of outcome, academics, we are talking about well-rounded individuals. In skills also, we are talking about holistic learning, but more emphasis on skills and jobs. Assessment in academics, it is mostly exams, projects, etc. In the skills, it is, demonstration, performance. You have to demonstrate, that you have learned something. And then career path, academic is wide ranging and careers, but it has a negative aspect also. As I showed you the video in the beginning, after a lot of academic learning, why are we jobless? We have to ask this question every day, again and again, if we are in the education and skill development domain. Believe me, keep asking this question. Then many thoughts will come to your mind. Then you will really find that enlightenment. Then career path here is specific to the industry. Industry engagement in academic is low, whereas in skill-based, it is integral. Without industry involvement and integration, skill-based courses is difficult to offer. Learning environment also differs. In academics, it is classroom, lab, library, etc. Whereas in skills, it is all that plus workplace and OJT, that is on the job training. So this is a summary of all that I told you just now. So as we move on to the 21st century classroom, it is not, please remember, it's not just a physical entity, but it is not about preparing for exams. It is about transitioning to the world of work. Okay. So it is about transitioning to the world of work and knowing what is the world of work and how things are changing. Hence, we have outcome-based education, and we need, we need to have technology-integrated curriculum, and the industry has to play a very important role. And the teachers and trainers are also the center stage, people on the center stage, because without them, nothing can be achieved. So before I close, I just want to show you. And after this, I'll just show you a few web pages. Kindly wait for that. The websites, I mean. You see here, today, when we talk about 10th class, SSC, this is what a child gets, a student gets, a certificate, right? Which is giving you marks, which is giving you grades. Nothing beyond this. So the future is not about this. The future will not accept this alone. Or rather, even today, this is not enough. As the student has to progress further. I'm not talking about jobs. I'm talking about the life of the student after this. Okay, similarly, an engineering certificate or degree will look like this. Maybe it will have some credits, it will have marks. No, all this will gradually change. You might have to add credits, you might have to add skills, you might have to add many more things to the student. That is why the certificates and all are not going to be enough. We are going to go digital. We are already digital with the academic bank of credits. That is where anything and everything can be stored. So that's where we are moving. So thank you so much. I would definitely want you to share your questions. But before that, let me quickly take you through some important websites. I hope you're able to. Just a second. Yeah. Are you able to see my screen? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So this is two important sites. Of course, I have to show you our website, National Skills Network. Please visit our website as often as possible and subscribe to our e-magazine so that you get a lot of updates from us. And if you want to write to us, share an article or an experience, please write. We will publish it here. And we also have, like I said, this is the e-magazine which we send out every fortnight. We have been doing it for almost 9 years now, regularly, very dedicatedly, without missing a single edition. We also have a YouTube channel. You can come here and watch videos. A lot of videos might be useful for you. You can also watch the videos which went live. So there are a lot of webinar videos also. Now from here, let me show you the policy. This is the policy document. And this is the TOC. Sorry? Hello? Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, it is visible, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the policy document. We'll give you the link. You can go through it. And then we have an important website, which is National Council for Vocational Education and Training, NCVET. For everything to do with skill development, you need to come to NCVET and check the updates here. They have a lot of resources. They have a lot of updates. And they also have about NSQF, they have a lot of information, and you also have the document, the latest information on NSQF. You can come here and read. And I would like to say this once again, in case you need our help to interpret, to understand, please let us know. We'll be very happy to collaborate with you. Now, another important website here is NQR, National Qualification Register. This has all the QP-NOS, the curriculum, okay, for various industries. Let us say you want to look at what is in the automotive industry, you can come here and check, okay. So there is a job role, automotive machining operator. If you click this, you will get to see what it is, automotive electrician or technician. So it is not limited to level 3, 4, 5. It has levels 7 also, up to level 7. So if you go on looking at this, you will find this QP-NOS, etc. for various this thing. I'll just open this and show you. Automotive machining lead technician. If you open this, you will see here all the documents and also the levels, right? Everything is given here. So this is a very important website. Then, of course, the CBSE academics, the CBSE academic, which has a lot of information on skill development also. From there, you can go and see all that they are doing in the skill education part for the schools. So this is the CBSE website. And then we have UGC. I'm sure all of you know about UGC. UGC also has some important updates. Please spend some time here, especially if you are into college level teaching, you need to come to UGC. And also if you are from engineering or technical education background, you have to visit AICTE. They also keep sharing a lot of updates about skills and education and other things. So these are the websites I wanted to show. Are there any questions? Yeah, thank you. I hope, yeah, you're all saying informative session. Yeah, I'm very happy to know it was informative and useful. But do you have any questions? I would be very happy to answer. Please share it here. Anyone, any questions? Anything you want to know more? As we are also live on YouTube, this video is available for your reference. You can always go and watch again in case you want to. And please write to us at contact@nationalskillsnetwork.com. That's the email ID. Okay. Are there any questions on YouTube, Divya? We can take those.
Nothing so far, ma'am.
Okay, great. So fine, I'm assuming that there are no questions. So once again, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. And please spread the word. We can have more people in the coming webinars. We are mostly doing this on Fridays. And please fill in the feedback form. That will be a very important thing for us. So kindly share your points in the feedback form, which is circulated. And if you want to pass on this message to your colleagues and friends, we are mostly conducting these webinars on Friday. We'd be very happy if you can help us reach more. Thanks once again and have a nice weekend. Goodbye.